Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Andrew.
And welcome to
Cooking Stage Left,
the show where we teach you how to make something delicious. So what are we making this episode, Andrew?
Well, today we are going to make an apple and brie crinkle cake.
Ooh.
And it uses a pretty cool ingredient. It uses phyllo dough or phyllo dough, however you want to pronounce it. It's the same thing. It's a cool ingredient. Like our other favorite ingredient, puff pastry, you buy it in the freezer section.
Excellent.
And it's a bunch of layers of thin dough. And it's used to make baklava and spanakopita and things like that.
Yeah.
And it can be pretty intimidating because normally when you use it, you have to like brush it with layers and all this stuff of butter and layers and butter and layers and butter and layers. It's amazing, but it's something that not a lot of people want to deal with. We're going to use an easier application of it. This is sort of like a fun way of doing it that's very simple. It's very easy.
Excellent.
Yeah, so, and it's going to be delicious because it's got lots of other things like apple and brie and butter and sugar and all that stuff in it. So,
Yum.
yeah, so apple and brie crinkle cake. Here we go.
Here we go.
Curtains up, burners on. Okay, so let's go through the ingredient list for our apple and brie crinkle cake.
Excellent.
So this is one of those things that's going to be really adaptable.
Yeah.
So we'll go through the base ingredients first and then sort of like the flavor ingredients. So first of all, the phyllo dough. And again, we're going to be using that in a different way that they usually use it. So we're going to be crinkling it.
Excellent.
Spoiler. And then to make sort of the base, we're going to use a cup of butter. So that's 2 whole sticks.
2 whole sticks.
Some milk, a couple eggs, some sugar, pinch of salt. And that's basically it. So that's going to be the basic cake itself. And you can probably pretty much make it just like that and it would be amazing and delicious.
Okay.
But we're going to add the flavors to go pal with it. So I've got some cooking spray because we'll need that for the cake pan. We've got brie and apple.
Yum.
So 1 or 2 apples and then like one of these little like 6 or 8 ounce wheels of brie, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then as sort of an homage to baklava, we're going to use some pistachio and some honey.
Yes.
And we're also going to use some rosemary, some fresh rosemary.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So this is going to like skirt the line between like sweet and savory a little bit.
Okay.
Which is kind of what you can do with this. But you could also do other combinations. You could do like fresh fruit and brie and then maybe some Nutella on top. Or you could do, you know, like caramelized onion and Gruyere or something like that. Like you could do lots of different variations of this. We're going to do a basic apple and brie with like flavors that go really well with that. So that's all the ingredients. And kind of seems like a lot. And there's going to be some prep with it and everything. But you'll see the actual whole like method of it is pretty simple. It's pretty simple. And a lot of this stuff, you know, other than sort of like the, you know, fancier ingredients and the phyllo itself, you probably already have.
Yeah.
So you're gonna run right out and make, you know, crinkle cakes all over the place.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so here we go. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're ready to start making our crinkle cake. And first we're gonna make the crinkle portion. So I told you that, you know, that phyllo dough can be a little intimidating. So one of the things that makes it kind of rough is that to work with it, you roll it all out. It'll be frozen, you defrost it, and then you roll it all out. And it's very, very thin sheets of dough that dry out very quickly. So you take a very clean towel or some paper towels, and you wet them, you sort of wring it out, and you put it over it while you're working. Okay? So that's going to sort of like save the dough. Now comes the fun crinkle part. What we're going to do, I mean, this should go pretty quickly, so it's not going to dry out quickly. You take up the dough, and we're going to take like 1 piece of dough at a time. Okay. And you're just kind of going to like accordion, like crinkle it.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, and you can go sort of like, let me get actually a good version of this. Oh, mine already ripped. So you just kind of like, you know, make sort of a fan with it. Okay. And then stick it in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And meanwhile, other stuff that we have prepared, we've set our oven to 350 degrees and we're melting some butter. But this goes in steps. So go ahead and grab a piece.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, this really is thin.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go.
And just take it to the side and crinkle.
Good, okay.
So we can cover for a moment. I think it's going to help that we have 2 people here, but you can feel it's already sort of drying out.
Oh my gosh, it really is. Yeah.
Boom, so crinkle.
I think I just ripped mine.
That's fine.
It's fine.
Like there's not going to be rips showing. And you just sort of like accordion fold it and crinkle it.
Yours looks so nice and mine are just like totally like Yours are like all perfect and like look pretty fan-like, and mine's just like squish.
I appreciate that you think that, but trust me, it's still just kind of like a fun, goofy mess.
It's fun.
So
you're
just gonna be crinkling this away, right?
Yeah, you know, that's the nice part.
Yeah, it's really super simple. I'm gonna flip this so we get some less dry, and then cover it again. So normally, again, you'd be layering with butter and all this stuff, but we're just making sort of like weird fans.
Yeah.
And crinkling it. This also happens in steps. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna crinkle, and then we're gonna bake, and then we're gonna lather it in butter, and then we're gonna bake, and then we're gonna put all the other stuff in it, and we're gonna bake again.
Yeah.
So it seems kind of complicated, but it's actually just a series of simple steps.
Okay.
That
fair.
one is an absolute mess.
That's fine.
Yeah, so there it is. Get in.
Okay. Get in while the getting's good. Also a little hard when you have nails, because my nails keep going.
Oh. Well, see, the cool thing about this one is that because it's kind of like, haphazard like this, it doesn't, it's not like you have to have beautiful layers like you would with a spanakopita or anything like that.
Right.
And just sort of, smoosh them in. And you're going to use the whole box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
So it's going to kind of look like that.
Yeah.
And it's going to go into the oven for its first bake.
Okay, great.
Cool. Okay, so sometimes things happen in the kitchen. We just did that whole sort of fold up thing, and we realized we forgot to spray our pan, right? So you want to grease your pan first. Here's our fix that we're going to do. We're going to take a big cutting board. Yep. We're going to flip it out.
Yep.
Because stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
At least we caught it. Going to take my spray.
Yeah, it's better than if we had put it in the oven.
Oh, that'd have been a mess.
Yeah.
Spray it pretty generously.
Cool.
Do.
See? Perfect. Look at that. We did it.
Stuff happens in the kitchen.
Stuff
you can
happens.
fix it. Yeah. There we go.
Yay.
All right.
Okay.
Now into the oven, 350.
350.
For 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes.
Okay, so the first 10-minute bake is done.
Yes.
And we're going to do our next step.
Excellent.
So while that got a little crisp, while that was baking, we melted our butter. And all we do now is pour the butter over this.
Great.
Bloop.
Perfect.
Now you'll get the oven again. Now it goes back in the oven for another 10 minutes.
Okay.
Just with the butter on it.
Excellent.
Okay, so we're in for our second bake. While it's on its second bake, you can prep for the rest of the ingredients.
Okay.
So what you're going to do on that side is put in a cup of milk,
Okay.
the 2 eggs,
Great.
2 tablespoons of sugar,
Okay.
and a good pinch of salt.
And a good pinch of salt. Okay,
Okay.
you said 1 cup of
Yep,
milk?
1 cup of milk. I'm going to slice our apples and our brie.
Okay.
And I'm just doing kind of thin slices on this. And that's really all the prep you need to do for this. So that's all mixed up. I've got the apples cut in fairly thin slices there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do about the same size slices of the brie.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about that knife that you're using?
This is a soft cheese knife.
Uh-huh.
And you wanna use it specifically for soft cheeses. Because what it does, the holes in it help so the cheese doesn't stick to the knife.
Yeah. That's so cool.
All right, so that's all the prep for the next part while we wait for
Great.
the second bake.
Excellent.
Okay, so our crinkle cake is out from its second bake. It's getting some nice brownness on
Yeah.
it. It already smells good, and it's just butter and dough.
Yeah.
So now what you do carefully, I'm going to leave these here to remind us to be careful.
Okay.
I do this a lot actually when I have to like put stuff back in the oven.
Yeah.
I leave the pot holders near it to remind myself like, hey, that's really hot. So
That's
you don't
hot.
do that afterwards.
Yeah.
So now you sort of like look at the crinkles and you just sort of like take the things that you're going to put in there and sort of like shove them down in between the crinkles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so go ahead and you work on the apples there and just fill it up because there's going to
great.
be like, you know, wherever. So fill up some apple and I'm going to fill up some brie in between the crinkles as best you can.
Okay.
Again, being careful, it's kind of hot. It's crinkling all over, I can hear it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing we're going to put in here is I've
Okay.
got some rosemary.
Yum.
And I'm just going to do a little sprinkling of rosemary through here.
Yes. That is the correct choice. Oh, look at that.
You could use thyme, you could use other, of course, fruit and whatever combinations you want, but I thought rosemary would go nicely with this sort of
Yeah, I think that's great.
pairing.
It's also a little bit unexpected, I think,
Yeah.
with this. Like, I wouldn't necessarily think of that, but it seems like it would be a great combo. Do you think you could use dried herbs for this part as well?
I think so too.
Yeah.
If you were using dried herbs, what I would do is I would mix them into sort of that custardy part that we've got that's going to go on next.
Oh, yeah.
So the egg and the milk mixture.
Yeah.
I would just sort of put them in there. If you're
Okay.
using dry, that'll sort of open them up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so that's looking good to me. Go ahead and pour that on top now.
Okay.
Now this is the final step before you put in for the final bake. You just sort of pour that all over.
Okay. Yep.
Back in the oven again.
Okay.
Still at 350. So you see, that's kind of what it looks like now. It already looks amazing.
It really does.
I'm just going to zhuzh it around to make sure that
Oh, yeah, that's a
is
good
in the
idea.
corners and everything.
Yeah.
And it goes. Now it's going to go in for about, you know, anywhere from like 25 to 35 minutes.
Okay.
So we'll keep checking it and let you know what happens.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we're ready with our apple and brie crinkle cake. So the last thing we did is as soon as it came out of the oven, and it baked about 35 minutes
Yeah.
in total. We checked it at 25 and then we put it in like another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it got lovely and brown and gorgeous there.
Yeah.
And as soon as it came out of the oven, we sprinkled it with some like chopped up pistachio and the honey. Okay, so again, we've got a mix of sweet and savory going on.
Yeah.
Then you gotta let it cool. Okay, this is better a little on the room temperature side there. And now we're gonna cut into it and see what happens here. You hear that crinkle? You hear
Yep.
it?
Yep.
You hear it?
There
There it is.
There it is. There's just some generous pieces, Andrew.
I'm a generous person. There we go. You heard it here. Straight from the source's mouth. Okay, look at
yes.
that. Yeah.
Look at this.
Look at that crunchiness going on in the bottom
That kind of
there.
corner piece right there. Can you see all of that? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the money shot.
gorgeous.
Yeah, right there.
Right there.
There we go.
Okay.
Fork, fork. There we go. Apple and brie crinkle cake.
Yep.
You can see the layers of the crinkle, and you can also see there's almost like the rich custardy level almost in there. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
looking amazing there.
You can kind of see
Hear that crunkle.
Okay. Sure, I'm getting all of the flavors in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
All those flavors and just like that little bit of pistachio on top.
Yep.
All of it. Yep.
Yep.
I'm happy with that brie thing going on.
Yeah, and this is the perfect temperature.
And it doesn't feel super sweet.
Not at all.
And it definitely feels like a dessert.
Yeah.
I'm just plowing through this already. This was so damn good.
Oh my gosh.
The apple and the brie together.
Yep. I got a bit more apple in that bite.
Again,
though.
lots more combinations you could do, but that's outstanding. Man, I could just go to town with a fork in this whole tray. I'm not gonna lie. Dag. Apple and brie crinkle cake.
That's a winner right there.
Yeah. I know I have to talk more, but I just want to keep eating. There's things I want to say. Again, lots of steps it seems like.
Yeah.
But really simple for something that's like big wow factor.
Not like complicated steps.
This would
at
be a
all.
great brunch item.
I think, yeah, I don't even know. Like, I know it's a sweet thing, but there's enough savory in here that I think this could be,
Yeah.
for sure, a good brunch food.
Yeah. Or like any time of day snack. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Apple and brie crinkle cake. Once again, I'm Andrew.
I'm Megan.
And this has been
Cooking
Stage
Stage
Left.
Gosh, this is a really
Crinkle.
up.
Okay, so we're no. We're